Hello and welcome back to Bookworm. You've probably believed that love is something that simply happens, a spark, a feeling, a connection. But what if love isn't something you fall into, but something you practice? In The Art of Loving, Erich Fromm argues that love is a skill that requires discipline, patience, and emotional maturity. Most people focus on being loved instead of learning how to love. Stay with me, like the video, subscribe to Bookworm, and let's go deeper into what real love actually demands.
Today, we are going to talk about something that feels so central to being human, love. But we're going to look at it through a really different lens, thanks to Erich Fromm's incredible book, The Art of Loving. He puts forward this powerful idea that love isn't just a feeling that washes over us. No, he says it's an art, something we actually have to learn and practice, because it's our answer to the deepest human problem there is, feeling alone. So let's just start with the question that Fromm throws right at us. Think about it for a second. Is love some kind of happy accident, a wonderful feeling you just stumble into if you're lucky? Or is it an art? Like learning to play the piano or to paint. If it's something that actually takes real knowledge and real effort, almost everything in our culture, our movies, our music, it all tells us it's the first one. But Fromm, he makes this incredible case that we've got it all backward. And this slide just lays out those two paths so clearly. On one side, you've got the popular belief. Love is just a feeling, something that happens to you. It's totally passive. You just wait around and hope you get lucky. But on the other side, you have Fromm's idea, which is pretty radical when you think about it. Love is an art. It's active. It means there are principles to learn and skills to practice. It's really the difference between being a passenger on a ship and deciding to be the captain. Okay, so here's how we're going to unpack this whole idea. First, we're going to ask, is love really just a feeling? We'll tear down that myth of falling in love. Then we'll get into the huge difference between mature and immature love. After that, we'll dive into Fromm's really sharp critique of how our modern culture treats love like a marketplace. Then we'll get practical and look at the 4 essential ingredients of real, active love. And finally, we'll see what it actually means to make love a daily practice. All right, let's jump into section 1. Is love just a feeling? This is where we have to tackle the biggest myth of them all. This idea that the crazy, intense, amazing experience of falling in love is the destination. That it's the same thing as learning how to actually love someone for the long haul. Fromm says most of us fail at love because we're starting from a completely wrong place. He points out 3 big errors we make. First, we spend all our energy trying to be lovable. We focus on our looks, our success, our personality, all so someone else will love us. We think the problem is being loved, but the real problem, the real work, is in our own ability to love. Second, we think the hard part is finding the right person to love. The one. We believe if we just find that magical person, love will be easy. But Fromm says, no, the problem isn't the object, it's the faculty. It's our own skill of loving that's underdeveloped. And this third point is the real kicker. We confuse that initial, dizzying feeling of 2 strangers' walls coming down, that fall, with the permanent, active state of standing in love. One is a feeling. The other is a choice, an activity. Okay, so that leads us right into the next big idea, which is really at the core of Fromm's work, the distinction between mature and immature love. And this isn't about judging anyone. It's about describing a shift in our whole orientation from a mindset of taking and receiving to one of active giving. Now, this right here is Fromm's beautiful definition of mature love. And get this, it's not about 2 people melting into one and losing who they are. It's the exact opposite. It's a connection that actually preserves your individuality. He calls it an active power. It's what allows us to break through that feeling of being separate and alone, but, and this is the important part, it lets you remain completely yourself. You don't get absorbed, you connect. This table just lays out the difference so perfectly. Immature love says, I love because I am loved. See? It's a reaction. It's basically saying, I'll love you if you love me first. But mature love flips that entirely. I am loved because I love. The act of loving comes first, and that's what creates love in the world. And this next one, wow. Immature love says, I love you because I need you. The other person is there to fill a hole in your life, to fix your loneliness. It's all about dependency. But mature love says, I need you because I love you. The love is already there, coming from a place of strength. The need for that person grows out of the love you have to give.
It's a complete shift from a mindset of receiving to one of giving, from emptiness to fullness.
So if mature love is the goal, what's standing in our way? Well, in section 3, Fromm gives us this incredibly powerful critique of our own society. He argues that our culture basically teaches us to treat love like a business transaction.
I know, it's a shocking phrase, isn't it? Human commodities. But Fromm says that in a society obsessed with the market, we start to see ourselves and other people as products to be bought and sold. Our value isn't something we just have, it's determined by how well we can market ourselves on the personality market. It's less about who we are and more about what our exchange value is.
And this leads us to what he calls exchanging personality packages. Think about it. We bundle up our best features, our job, our looks, our sense of humor, our cool hobbies, and we present that package to the world. Our dating profiles are literally resumes for this exchange. The whole point becomes trying to make a good deal, to find someone with a package that's as valuable as ours, or hopefully even more so. And where does that transactional thinking lead? Well, it leads us to search for the best object available on the market, based on what we think we're worth. Love stops being about a deep human connection and starts becoming a cold calculation of pros and cons, of assets and deficits. And when two people think they found the best deal they can get, they call it falling in love.
In Fromm's own words, just say it so perfectly. When everything in our world, from our jobs to the things we buy, is based on this pattern of exchange, why would we be surprised when our most personal relationships start to look the same? We end up treating love like a business merger. And that whole mindset is the absolute enemy of the art of loving.
Okay, so if that's the problem, how do we fight back? How do we actually learn the art of loving? Well, this next section gives us the toolkit. Fromm breaks it down into 4 essential elements that are part of every single form of mature love. These are the actual skills of the artist.
So here they are: care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge. Now, the really important thing to get here is that these aren't just items on a checklist. They all have to be there, working together. They feed into each other. If you take one away, Fromm says, you don't really have mature love anymore.
So first up is care. This one seems pretty obvious, right? It's the active concern for the life and the growth of the person you love. I mean, if you told me you loved your garden but you never watered it, I wouldn't believe you. It's the same thing here. Love is the work you put in for someone else's well-being. It's the daily effort. Next is responsibility. And this word can sometimes sound like a chore, but that's not what Fromm means at all. In this sense, it means the ability to respond. It's a completely voluntary choice to tune in to another person's needs, both the ones they tell you about and the ones they don't. It means you feel an internal pull to respond, not because you have to, but because you are connected. Third, we have respect. And this is so beautiful. The root of the word literally means to look at. And that's exactly it. Respect is the ability to see a person for who they actually are, as a separate, unique individual. It's wanting them to grow and become who they are meant to be, not who you want them to be. It's the opposite of using someone. Respect is what keeps care and responsibility from turning into control and possession. And finally, we have knowledge. Because without knowledge, the other 3 elements are just flying blind. And we're not talking about knowing their favorite movie. We're talking about the deep, sometimes difficult, work of seeing past your own ideas and fantasies to understand who they really are at their core. It's this deep knowledge that guides everything else and makes real intimacy possible. It's the compass for the art of loving.
And all of this brings us to our final and maybe most important section: love as a daily practice. Okay, so if love is an art and we have the 4 main tools, how do we actually get good at it? Well, it takes the exact same kind of dedication it takes to master anything else in life.
So what does this practice look like day to day? Fromm says it requires a few key things. It needs discipline, not someone forcing you, but the kind of discipline an artist has to show up every day and do the work. It needs concentration, the ability to actually be present with someone in a world that is designed to distract us. It needs humility and objectivity, the ability to see people and situations as they are, not just how they affect us. And all of that is part of the big one, overcoming our own narcissism, which is that state where we can only see the world through our own eyes. And maybe most importantly, we have to decide to make love a matter of ultimate concern, to make it just as important as our career, our money, or our status.
So if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this: love is an activity. It is not a passive feeling. It is a standing in, a choice you make every day to actively engage. It is not the accidental, effortless experience of falling for someone. You see, falling is easy. Anyone can fall. Standing? And choosing to keep standing day after day, that takes practice. That takes strength. That is the art.
And I think this final quote for Fromm just captures everything perfectly. Love isn't the finish line. It's not some peaceful harbor where you finally get to put your feet up and relax. It is a constant challenge. It's something that is alive. It is a moving, growing, working together. The true art, then, isn't finding the perfect person. It's becoming a person who can truly practice love every single day with care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge. The real question isn't, will I find love? But am I willing to become the artist?
If this book challenged your idea of love, that's intentional. The Art of Loving reminds us that real love is not possession, intensity, or dependency. It is care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge practiced daily. Love isn't luck, it's effort and awareness. If one idea shifted how you see your relationships, share it in the comments. And if you want more deep psychological conversations like this, like the video and subscribe to Bookworm. Next time, we explore the hidden games people play in relationships.